Princess Elizabeth was only 10 years old when she moved here to Buckingham Palace. Her father had just become king, and this is where the king's family lived. As beautiful as the palace was, it did have its drawbacks. With 775 rooms, it wasn't exactly cozy. And with 40-foot-high ceilings, it could also get pretty drafty. And of course, here she'd be even further away from ordinary life. Although really, her life had never been ordinary. April 29th, 1929. A 3-year-old princess is on the cover of Time magazine. She is nicknamed Lilibet because she can't pronounce her own name, Elizabeth.
Even though the Queen wasn't the heir apparent when she was born and when she was a small girl, there has always been a fascination with the royal family. She was very popular even from a very young age, and people wanted to know everything.
Like so many other parents, the Duke and Duchess of York bring their 2 little girls to see the big spectacle at Olympia.
She grows up in a flat on Piccadilly Street in London, a comfortable but not extravagant life. Because she's third in line to the throne, the chances of her ever being queen seem remote. She's the daughter of a second son, the same spot on the family tree occupied today by Princess Beatrice and her sister Eugenie.
We're in the position that she was before she became queen. So it's quite interesting to look at her and how she sort of gracefully moved to being queen herself.
She wasn't born for the job. I think the secret of this queen's success is that she was just a minor member of the royal family for the first 10 years of her life. This gave her great respect for the institution, but also great personal modesty.
The princess, who delights in riding her own pony, shows her joy at the jumping.
She had a very happy childhood with her younger sister, Princess Margaret, who was a much naughtier girl than Princess Elizabeth.
The Queen somehow came out into the world beautiful. She just, as a little girl, she got hold of a dustpan and brush and dusted her room. She got given toy horses, she put them in neat rows. She just was instinctively the right person for the job right from the beginning.
It was a very affectionate household, and it was a completely secure childhood until the abdication of King Edward VIII.
The world is shocked when King Edward steps down to marry a twice-divorced American woman, Wallis Simpson.
I have found it impossible to carry the heavy burden of responsibility without the help and support of the woman I love.
His younger brother Albert, Elizabeth's father, is crowned King George. 10-year-old Princess Elizabeth watches from the audience. The little girl who never was expected to be queen is suddenly heir to the throne.
Everything changed in terms of the way that the public looked at her, the way she looked at the future, I dare say, but she's never once expressed any kind of regret. There's never been any sense of, I wish it hadn't happened.
The abdication throws the monarchy into crisis.
Tsar Nicholas II was shot by the communists.
Since World War I, royal families across Europe have been losing their popularity and power. The Windsors fear King Edward's rejection of the crown will lead to England's rejection of them.
The abdication didn't just throw this very hard-working and serious young woman into the line of succession. It gave her a lesson she has never forgot, that at the end of the day, the British monarchy must answer to the opinions of the people and not go its own willful way, as her uncle Edward had done with this wicked American woman.
Good. Your Majesty.
Elizabeth and her family moved to Buckingham Palace, as a modern-day audience witnessed in the Oscar-winning film, The King's Speech. The palace is a training ground for the future queen, a playground for 2 little girls, and a protective cocoon.
So as royal princesses, they had everything brought to them in the palace. When they joined the Brownies or the Girl Guides, it was a palace pack. And smart and acceptable little girls were brought in to join them. There are stories of the two little princesses looking wistfully out of the windows of Buckingham Palace, wondering how they lived.
At the beginning of World War II, a 14-year-old Princess Elizabeth gives her very first public address.
And when peace comes, remember, it will be for us, the children of today, to make the world of tomorrow a better and happier place.
It's a 4-minute speech on BBC Radio to British children who had been evacuated to other countries.
My sister is by my side, and we are both going to say good night to you. Come on, Margaret. Good night, children. Good night, and good luck to you all.
The cocoon she's lived in is about to crumble. The war will force the princess out of the palace and into a dangerous new world.
Mesdames, Mesdemoiselles, Messieurs, amis fidèles des réseaux de la Diaspora, Diaspora Network, welcome to this special interview. Today, the Diaspora Networks is going through different immigrant communities, and we'll emphasize, like usual, to present the reality of the people of the diaspora. Aujourd'hui, nous sommes en tournée, comme nous avons dit, les réseaux de la Diaspora. C'est une chaîne qui présente les réalités des peuples de la diaspora partout où ils sont, dans leur succès professionnel, politique, éducatif, ainsi de suite. Today we are honored, Diaspora Network is honored to receive on its platform for the very first time, Mr. Ganesan Sugumar. Mr. Ganesan Sugumar is an example of a success of the immigration here in Canada. With him, we're going to discuss his business opportunity, the challenges he had faced as a new immigrant in Canada, his accomplishment and the great success, among which his designations to be a recipient for the Queen Elizabeth Gold and Diamond Jubilee. So pour vous, j'ai Monsieur Ganesan Sugumar, qui est un homme d'affaires, un immigrant, qui a immigré au Canada depuis de longues années. On va discuter avec lui de ses succès, de ses réalisations, surtout il a été désigné pour être un récipiendaire dans le jubilé que la reine Elisabeth organise pour reconnaître justement les mérites des peuples de la diaspora. Alors sans plus tarder, without any more further delay, I want to welcome Mr. Sugumar. Thank you for accepting my invitation.
Thank you very, very much.
Well,
it's a great opportunity for the immigrants to listen to the honest and true story. And go ahead.
Exactly, right. Whenever we talk about the immigrant, Canada is a country of immigrations. Many years and many people from different countries in the world, they see Canada like a promised land. And for the most part, when certain immigrants, not all of them, arrive in Canada, they faces different challenges, which for the most time, they haven't planned, they didn't even imagine they would come across with, which allows me to discuss those realities with you, given the fact that you have succeeded here in Canada. You're a great business person. You are also a political leader, and why not the community activist as well. But before we go to my question, perhaps could you introduce yourself and tell Canadian who you are, what you do, and then we'll go from there.
Oh, I'm very honored to give this interview to my dear friend. My name is Ganesan Sugumar. I was immigrated from Sri Lanka. It's a beautiful country, no doubt about it. But due to so many problems, the violence, I am pushed to, and I have to leave the country. And of course, I was a business person in Sri Lanka itself. And I have visited about over 20 countries and around the world. I have been to, if I name those countries, even I have seen I wanted just to go and explore my business opportunities in Australia, India, of course, Malaysia, Singapore, United States of America, United Kingdom, and so many various countries I have visited, even New Zealand, Switzerland. But the good reason for Canada, that the choice of Canada is, there are so many reasons that I could name it. And the first, let me tell you, when I wouldn't have leave the country if the war, I think everybody knows what's going on in Sri Lanka. Due to the war factor, the business people, most of the business people, every time you can't be disturbed, so they left the country. So my choice, Canada, I could say this is, I think every Canadian, every immigrant, whoever likes to do business in the rest of the world should choose Canada for one reason. This country is surrounded with one of the richest nations. And that to do business, the environmental is very fine, is very easy. That's the main reason that I have my choice is the Canada is today.
For sure, we would go to all those details during this interview. My very first question, which I believe is a natural question, would be you definitely spoke a little bit about it. Usually when a person is established in his homeland, the promise, I mean, the project is to establish itself and to be even more successful where they're originally from. What did motivate you in the first place to leave India, Sri Lanka, to come here in Canada? Perhaps I could hold the microphone.
Yeah.
So you could,
As I told you earlier also that the main reason why I chosen Canada, I didn't come direct to Canada to start my business. I have visited so many other countries. If you visit so many and the rest of the world, there are so many obstacles that we have to go through. But in Canada, I myself, of course, it didn't take, it took about 6 months for me to establish myself, and the nature of the country, climate of the country, and the people of the country is really give you lots of courage for you to stand as a business person in this country.
Yeah, as a business person, also as a political person. But how would you then compare the Canada with the rest of the world?
Very let me be very frank on that. Canada is a very open and very friendly country, and especially the people, Canadians, are very kind and very nice and timely. They will really help you. And for you to be a business person, the environment, that's the most important thing for you to do a business. The environment for a business person is fabulous and is fantastic. If I go into elaborate that in a little further, even the government-wise, bureaucrats and the politicians, or even all levels of government, they really welcome to the business people to come and do business, and they mean really business.
But you seem, I mean, I was looking on your profile. Ladies and gentlemen, I would present to you this booklet. It's What a Beautiful Tomorrow. This is a booklet that the City of Toronto put in place for the new immigrant who have arrived in Toronto, in Canada, and who have succeeded, and also who have contributed positively to the growth of the economy here. I do also have this brochure that is presented by the province of Ontario around the world. It is called Ontario, Canada. The future is here. As you can see on the cover, Mr. Sugumar is one of the person that has been honored because of his contribution toward the growth of the economy here in Canada. But Mr. Sugumar, for the most part, I mean, when we leave our countries, our place of birth, I would say, there is a lot of challenges that we face in a new place. Cultural challenges, immigration challenges. Sometimes it's just the way people live their lives. We come, for example, India is a country that has a lot of culture. And, you know what I mean, Canada is not necessarily it promotes cultures, but it doesn't implement the way people live in India. My question to you would be, what are the great challenges you have faced while being here in Canada here as an immigrant?
Yeah, that is really a good question that you have put forward. I could say that as a government part, they didn't interfere into the cultural matters, but as we brought a lot of culture from our hometown to this country. And one thing I could say in Canada, to practice my own culture is very convenient and very easy. And there's no restriction as such. But only thing is the youngsters' culture, of course, sometimes it won't agree with us. But still we feel as a Canada, take as a whole country, there's no restriction absolutely for you to practice your own culture, own your dress, own your food, anything you name it, you can have it in this country. So that make me a little proud and a little comfortable to not to worry too much about my culture. Because I brought my culture, of course, and I'm still practicing my culture. That is not, there's no restriction as such. So that is one reason that the choice of Canada is a great. To anybody, everybody. I won't say anybody who come from India or even from Asia. Every part of the world, you can practice your own religion, own culture in this country.
No less than a few weeks, I would say 2 weeks, after the conferences, the Premier of India has met with the President of China. The Premier of India has met with the President of the United States. India has become a key country for the growth and the well-being of the world economy of tomorrow. You, as part of that country, how do you express that success, and how do you feel, do you see the future of India contributing to the well-being of the world economy?
Okay, definitely, India and China today, they are one of the largest partners in business, no doubt about it, because due reason, the population is so great, and whatever the manufacturers, whatever we are talking in terms of about 2.5 billion population in these two countries. So the business is, and also the competition is extremely good extent, and India is definitely going to play a huge role when you compare to the rest of the world. And as if you talk about India, and even still, as the Indians or even Asian people, still we like to come to the developed countries, because there are a lot of avenues that we can get much more in developed countries, and from other than when you compare to the other countries.
Given the fact you're coming from such a country, and being in Canada right now as a successful business person and a political leader, what is your impression about the Canadians, the way the Canadians treat immigrants? What do you think about the political situation? Is it favorable for the business community? Is it favorable for the business community, specifically those who are from immigration?
I like to let you know a little detail, because as a business person, I came to this country as a business immigrant, so it's little hard for me, because it's not that easy as everybody says. I have to be honest to anybody who's interested to come to Canada. This is one of the best country, I could say, on my own personal experience. But in the same token, I like to tell you that's not the easy way that you can approach, an easy way to come up. But if you're willing to work hard, this is, I could say as an example, this is like a rose garden. But you will get everything in this country, except you have to work hard. But if you come to the Canadian political points, or even the bureaucrats, or whatever you need for a business person, I don't think I have any kind of problem that I faced. And definitely for a new immigrant, we have some problem with the financial institutions, and they are not going to consider giving you any facilities immediately. But for that, you all have to make ready for yourself. Once that you are ready, and you have to keep expanding your business into a different field. And the question is yours, whether the government of Canada or the Canadian population, Canadian people, absolutely we don't have any problem. And that is my personal view that I have. Of course, when we come from the country, undeveloped country, they call ourselves third world country, and the immigration officials are a little cautious, whether we will survive, whether we can.
It's funny you're mentioning a third world country while you're talking about India as the main country that would play the roles of stability for the next generation of the business as it spans.
We have a lot of talents in ourselves, but the talent have to be proved. Until you are proved, nobody going to believe you. Even I have my past, of course, there is a lot of experience that I went through, but I'm not blaming anybody here. Even this is my true story. When I came, the official and the officer, immigration department, simply they asked me, they put a big smile and said, you trying to tell me that you could run a business in Canada? So I just told them, the fish need to see a water, and the fish know how to swim. I need a country to give me a peace of mind. If that's all the businessman need. If that is there, I know how to do the business. We are like a fish. We want to do business.
Definitely, a fish doesn't need to be taught how to swim. That is a true story. In Africa, there is another expression that applies that says you cannot teach a monkey how to climb on the tree. So it applies the same thing. So you have to have a tree for a monkey to climb, as you have to have a water for a fish to swim. But my true questions, today we know the immigration reform are changing a lot. Mr. Jason Kenney, which is the Minister of Immigrations, I follow on the question answer from the Parliament. There is a lot of, the opposition party seem to present the Conservative Party as a party who's not changing the reform toward making the immigration experience for the new immigrant easy. Is that also your personal impression?
If you're going to talk about the immigration in very widely, I am talking about the business immigration. I didn't see any problem. There is no big changes taking place. But of course, the regular immigration, yes, there are a lot of changes are coming up due to so many reasons, I could say. But when here we are talking about the business immigration point of view, I don't think there will be a great challenges that they face. But if you're a serious business person, of course, you have to prove yourself to the person who interviewed you, definitely. When we are coming from a third world country, there are a lot of suspicious, because if they know that it's not that easy for us to come and survive here. But if you are a real true business person, there is not a problem to my knowledge, and you will do really a grateful job here.
For those Indians from Sri Lanka who are not coming here as a business partners, as a business investor, do you think the immigration is making it easy? Are they integrating themselves properly, easily, or is it hard for them to go through the process?
I won't say it's very easy, but it's a little harder. And but as long as that your project is a great project, definitely I don't think there'll be any problem that I see. But of course, if you take my story, yes, I had to go through a lot of problems, a lot of issues. It's not that easy that I started my business. It takes about 6 to 9 months for me to put my first footing in a proper way. And because we had to go through it, because I have to go through the culture, the weather, the language, even the actions, all we have to learn before we start. And even the culture, of course, everybody won't be the same. And and my advice to the business people, whoever like to come into this country, they must be a very broad-minded. It's not that their plan may be one, but when you come to this country, you may have to do some other business. The same way myself. My plan is different, but when I came to this country, I changed the whole situation. Today, I am very proudly, I can tell you, I have about 125 staffs working in the whole my group, and is unbelievable.
Congratulations, les amis. Nous sommes justement au bureau de Monsieur Sugumar, comme je disais. Pour nos amis qui ne parlent pas anglais, Monsieur Sugumar est un immigrant qui est venu au Canada comme un immigrant investisseur. Alors, la beauté du Canada, qui est le pays où il fait le mieux vivre, et qu'ils ont des réformes d'immigration qui facilitent justement la procédure d'intégration des personnes qui viennent investir. As I was saying, for those friends who don't speak much of English, Canada is one of the greatest countries in the world. The political bills that promote the immigration makes it easy for the people of diaspora to come, to integrate themselves, and so on. M. Sugumar aujourd'hui a créé plus de 125 emplois dans différents domaines. Il est un leader dans un grand parti politique ici, qui est le Parti libéral. Il est aussi un activiste communautaire au sein de sa communauté. Donc la communauté indienne, la diaspora indienne, est estimée à des centaines de milliers de personnes ici au Canada. Et bien entendu, cela ira sur ma autre partie de la question que j'avais prévue à cet effet. Mr. Sugumar, I was basically telling my fellow viewers, those who don't speak English, that you were a great, successful immigrant in Canada, and I was also presenting Canada, which is the matter, which is the truth. That is a country that makes it easy for those who are coming as an investor to integrate themselves and why not succeed and perhaps growth. Being a business person, you have become an active political member of the Canadian politics, but you have chosen to be part of the Liberal Party. What does justify the choice of the Liberal Party as opposed to the Conservative Party or perhaps to the NDP?
There are a lot of reasons why I have chosen to join the Liberal Party, because their policies. The first thing, for a business person, the policy should be in a right position. And if the policies are not in a great situation, the business people can't survive in this any country. Of course, you take even our country or my country, the country where I'm come from, the policies they do changes every day. One day they say the foreigners to come, second day they say the foreigners to go, and then they say they want to, there should be so many obstacles they give it to us. But if you take the Liberal Party, they are very wide. They respect the human rights, of course. Number two, I could say that the business people, they invite the business people wide openly, without any restriction, and they let the people to come in, and I could say that their policies are really a great policies for a business person. So there won't be any restriction for anybody to do business in this country.
But I mean, when you're looking at the Liberal Party position today, I mean, back in the Jean Chrétien area, we saw a very strong Liberal Party. It was for sure leading the country. They've been in the power for such a long period of time, I believe 15 years in the role. And then Mr. Paul Martin took over. And then afterward, it looked like the Liberal Party leadership has weakened itself. Is that also the way you're looking at it? And also, do you see a lot of immigrants playing a major role in the Liberal Party as it stands?
No, I could. This is a nice question that you ask, asking me. But if you take the immigrants, we have to be educated firstly. How to play a political, get involved in politics. But most of the immigrants, of course, you can't blame them. When they come to this country, they have to first settle themselves. They bring a lot of package with them. Number one, that they have to settle. Then they have to look after their family. Then, of course, they have a life to live. But they don't have time to spend or spare to the political matters. But in my case, that I'm looking at, the reason why I'm here today, from a beautiful country, of course, no doubt about it, because my parents didn't get involved in politics. But when you come to the Canadian, you can talk about this Liberal Party, and the time of Paul Martin or Chrétien or former prime ministers, I could say, even I could tell you that at that time, the world is doing well and everything, things are great. But right now, as you know, the rest of the world is not economically we are crashed. So that may be one reason that we are having a problem. But still, Canada is not a bad country. And in G8 countries, you could say the Canada is doing extremely well. But still, I think that with the new leader for the Liberal Party, and definitely the Justin Trudeau will bring this country back again, and also he will definitely going to build a Liberal Party back again, and definitely I could say he's going to form the government. And Justin is a young man, and he can do much better than anybody, I could say. and I can see the future for Canada.
Well, we definitely wish him the best of luck. I'm looking at these designations. À l'occasion du 50e anniversaire de l'accession de la reine, which is the 50th accession of the Queen to the throne, you've been giving this medal. Was this certification given due to your business success, political success, or the community success? If that would be given because of your political, community activity system, what have you accomplished for the community, for the people of in Canada, definitely the immigrant, that vote that you get these recognitions?
This is not triggered because of the political or business. Of course, I am getting involved in community services a lot. I get involved in hospitals. Most of the hospitals we are doing a fundraising, and there is a hospital called Centenary Hospital. We raised about $250,000 and built for the kids, for the children, a newborn unit, and also now we are doing a fundraising for the MRI project for the Scarborough Hospital in the Grace unit. And also that I get involved in senior homes and my own community we have in the temples and so on. You know, there are so many community part that I play a huge role. Addition to that, I could tell you I'm so proud about that too. I was nominated by the government of Canada to monitor the general election in Serbia, and also I was sitting in the board.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I was appointed by the Lieutenant Governor of Ontario and Minister of Health and Long Term to sit in the board in the chiropractors College of Chiropractors, and I was involving in so many other activities in this country.
Monsieur Sugumar est en train justement de nous expliquer qu'il a été proposé, en dehors de reconnaissance qu'il a reçue lors de la 50e anniversaire de l'accession de la reine au trône, il a été remis un certificat justement pour ses activités communautaires. Il a fait de récoltes de fonds qui ont récolté jusqu'à $250,000 pour soutenir justement des initiatives des enfants qui rencontraient des problèmes de maladies qui n'étaient pas nécessairement financés, n'est-ce pas, au niveau du gouvernement provincial. Aussi, le gouvernement du Canada vient de la pointer pour être son observateur par rapport à l'équipe des observateurs canadiens qui vont superviser les élections en Serbie. En dehors de ça, il a supporté et continue à créer des centres pour les hébergements des personnes aînées, ainsi de suite. Donc, comme vous voyez là, c'est un exemple parfait d'une réussite d'immigration, un exemple que nous présentons justement au peuple de la diaspora pour leur dire, ça peut paraître difficile, certes, mais ce n'est pas impossible. La preuve en est que nous avons une personne qui a succédé avec énormément de succès dans la mesure où, as I was saying, you have gotten a lot of success through your immigration process here in Canada. But certain people presented you as a millionaire, a person who has a lot of money, but in the same token is being a very humble person. Did Canada make you a wealthy person, or you came in Canada as a wealthy person?
No, it's both sides, both ways. Of course, I earned money from Canada, and Canada earned money from me. Okay. That's the way. That is the way it should be, and also that we give. In my philosophy is this: at least 15% of my total income I used to donate towards the hospitals and to the needy people. I do that. So because it's not that we were not told back home how it works, but in this country we have to give, because I have seen there are donors are giving millions and millions and millions of dollars to keep our medical system to the great extent, and also the security system. And we need money, so the business people have to come forward, and I'm so honored to contribute towards that needy cause.
So we are honored to share those experiences with the immigrant to follow our network. Mr. Sugumar, I work with a gentleman, a well-experienced journalist. He's got over 22 years of experience. I'm talking about Dr. Charles Kajimopompo-Wakabeya, which is also a journalist. He has a way of asking this last question, which is, during our interview, we ask a lot of questions. We attend to define what could be the best question from which we want to get information for our viewer. But what would be a subject or a question that you would perhaps want to discuss about, which I haven't present here in this interview, that you want to share with our viewer?
Only thing is, you didn't ask me why you have, okay, you came to Canada, what you have given to Canada, and what Canada has given to me. Of course, you asked me the different way, by the business, whether I became the millionaire by Canada or I came to this country as a millionaire. But you never asked me what Canada gave me and what I gave to Canada. Yes, I want to tell you something. You know, the main reason, what Canada gave me, and is my personal story. I am very honored to share this with your viewers. And the Canadian water gave me 2 kids, beautiful, lovely kids for myself. And I didn't have children for almost 10 years, 8 to 9 years. But Canadian government, Canadian soil, Canadian people, Canadian love gave me 2 gems. So that is Canada gave me. In return, I am giving Canada. I always tell my children, and my kids, both kids are joining me to do a lot of philanthropy. They got a philanthropy, International Philanthropy Award recently by the association. I was so grateful for that. And my kids still do the same thing. And still I am walking towards to help poor and the needy people. And my ambition is to keep the youngsters employed. And that's the one reason that today I'm proud to say I employed almost 125 employees and staffs, I could say. And my lovely staffs, they are the pillars of my business. And today I'm so proud, and still I think that I had to continue to take more young people from the street to into the business, and also I educate business for them to survive on their own. And that is what I am going to give it to Canada.
Beautiful. So my very last question would be, what is then your message, your personal message from the heart to those viewers, those immigrants, those newcomers who have arrived here as you, looking for a better life? What can you possibly tell them? What can you encourage them with so that they can be as successful as you are today?
Okay, this is a good question that you asked me. Only thing I can tell you, if anybody interested to come to Canada, this is the best country for you all. Nowhere in the earth you will see a country like Canada. But everybody will tell you all Canada is a paradise, Canada is a beautiful, and you can have a beautiful life, no doubt about it. But this is like, as I told you at the initial our interview, it's like a rose. If you want to have a rose garden, you have to do everything. In back home, you have everybody to do. But in this country, you have to do by yourself. Once you do that, I don't think there will be any partners in between you and the business. And only the person is that as soon as you pay your tax, and the rest of the money is yours. And the country where I come from, I think after my earnings, I don't think even I take 2% out of it. But here in Canada, I could say at least 50 to 75% it goes with me. So that is a great opportunity to every viewers of yours, and they should look at Canada if they really want to survive. And this is a beautiful country. Let's work with Canada, and definitely Canada is going to work with us.
Let's work with Canada, and definitely Canada would work with us. Mesdames, Mesdemoiselles, Messieurs, c'était pour nous un honneur de recevoir Monsieur Ganesan Sugumar, qui est un modèle de la réussite d'immigration justement au niveau du Canada. Beaucoup de personnes viennent au Canada, ils se contentent de petites choses, de miettes, alors que le Canada donne des opportunités de devenir comme lui, un millionnaire. Ce n'est pas été impossible, il a investi, il a mis du sérieux, il y a mis de son temps, et aujourd'hui, il est un homme qui est représenté, que le gouvernement du Canada remet des, n'est-ce pas, des projets pour le représenter à tant qu'est-elle. Donc, vous suivez le réseau de la diaspora, vous êtes en Europe, vous êtes en Amérique, vous êtes dans les Caraïbes, vous êtes en Afrique. Voici là pour vous un modèle que vous pouvez suivre. Je vous donnerai tous ces coordonnées. Vous pourrez regarder, n'est-ce pas, au travers du site d'internet, ces exploits, et vous pourrez vous en inspirer à tant qu'est-elle. Mr. Sugumar, it was a great pleasure, it was a great honor, and it's a great honor, obviously. It was when we've learned that we would be having this chat with you, I was very curious to find out what was the thought you could perhaps come up with as far as the immigrant are concerned. I wish we could also in your future perhaps, have another interview to discuss on the subject, either political, business, or community. So thank you very much for accepting our invitation, and once again, we are very...
Réseau de la diaspora 24 heures sur 7, la chaîne la mieux documentée de la diaspora.
Réseau de la diaspora 24 heures sur 7. Réseau de la diaspora, la chaîne la mieux documentée de la diaspora. Suivez-nous au www.dn247.net.
Réseau de la diaspora, c'est aussi la politique, la santé, l'économie, la jeunesse, le sport et toute l'actualité.
Les réseaux de la diaspora 24 heures sur 7. Diaspora Networks 24/7.
Suivez-nous au www.dn247.net.
Réseau de la diaspora, la chaîne la mieux documentée de la diaspora.
Diaspora Networks 24/7, la chaîne par excellence.